here. All right, so from your dashboard, when you're signed into Stackably, I'm going to start out by going to my calendar here, the calendar option, and then events. And then inside of events, we can build out specific events. They can be paid events, they can be free events. So today, I'm just going to kind of walk through some of the event settings as you build out your events, the things that you have, some of the capabilities that are there, and then I'll walk through the sign up process that a customer would go through when they register for an event, and how that flow works and the tracking of that and all that stuff for the business. So here I'll go to my events page, and on my events page, it would list out all of my upcoming events. Again, you would have filters here where you could filter for past events if you were trying to pull reporting or anything like that from a specific event. And I'm just going to walk through the event settings so you can see how these get built out. I did build this one out earlier just so that way I had it done, so it would save me a little bit of time on the demo. So you go in, you give your event a title. You can select event types, so you could have different event types. The drop down, you can create event types, all that sort of stuff for additional tracking, or if you have different types of customers and you want to keep track of them and have them in different events. From here, we do have some additional functionality. You can actually require participants to have been at another event. So this would be like continuance events where you went through, stage one of some specific training and now you were ready to go into part two. You could require that they were through part one first, and this would pull in the event registration list from part one. Those people would be invited to part two, that sort of thing, as far as dividing up and requiring participants to have been at other events. You'd quickly give your event a banner here and then a brief description. And then from here, you're going to go ahead and put in the event details. Who's the host? So if you have this assigned to a specific employee, you can assign it to an employee inside of your system, and then we can track the revenue that this event generates, and it would be assigned to that employee if you wanted to give the employee specific revenue for an event that they host. We'll go ahead and put in the name and the location of the event. And then from here, we'll go over to our event settings. This is going to be the date and time for the event, and then just a brief description. Here, you can also plug in a waiver. So if you're requiring for whatever specific type of events, and again, the range of events, it's hard for me to go into specific ones that we're seeing or, go into specific questions. We're doing these for like gymnastic competition tryouts if you're trying to get on their traveling team. And so there's a lot of different things that this is being used for. So you can require a waiver to be signed with this as well if for some reason you would need that for the event. When you select waiver required from the system, you could create a specific waiver for this individual event, or I could go up here and I could just pull in one of my existing waivers here. This is account, I already had a waiver created. I can just grab this. It's going to show my waiver information for my default one, and I could hit use, and then that's going to pull in this waiver so I don't have to go through and actually create that. Again, you can turn waivers on or off. Then it's going to bring me over to here to where I'm going to build out specific questions I'm going to ask for registrants as they're going through the registration flow online. I could put in just some default questions, or I can come down here and I can create my own specific questions with drop-down answers. As I add questions here, I type out my question, I type out the answer type that I'm looking for, and I can choose if it's required or not. So again, this registration flow gives them a ton of customization in terms of the information they're trying to collect as the customer is going through and signing up for the event. Then I can decide what type of people can register. So again, with like the gymnastics example, it's for minors only, but it requires a guardian or an adult to sign them up. But you can choose who all can sign up for this event through the event registration process. Then I'll go into my exact checkout flow. So this is where I would select, is this a paid event or a free event? If it's a paid event, I can select who pays. I can also create the whole payment flow, a late registration process, so I can charge a lower amount for pre-registration, a late registration amount. I can also select additional products that could be listed on the registration, so they could upsell. For example, staying in line kind of with that gymnastics event, like the competition tryouts, if they wanted to sell them, gymnastic, like athletic tape or chalk or something like that the kids might need for that event. They could list their products right here from their shop. So any products they have in the system, they could attach them to that checkout flow. And then the customer, as they're registering for the event, could add in additional products. That way they're there ready for them when they get to the event to check in. Here I can go through here. This is where I set my event price, my late fee if you sign up for late registration, and then the just additional registration customization in terms of how many people can sign up for the event. And then down here, I can select some admin options, who the user can register for guests, income goes to the user that's running the event, that sort of stuff. I can build out a refund policy. So if there is a payment that's attached, I could put a refund policy right there on the page as they check out. And then I have automated check-in that can also be added. And so this allows us to then be able to pass their registration, their check-in information into their Google Wallet or their Apple Wallet. Google Wallet is still under development, so when you get your demo account, if you go in there and test it, it should be ready by the time we release it to the agents to demo. But currently, we're only supporting the Apple Wallet. And so then from here, I go next. I can choose the template that this is going to live on. So we give them two different just default templates. They don't have to go through and create a web page. They don't have to do anything like that. We're going to create a URL for this that they could share on social media, and it's going to be already on a templated page for the sign-up process. They could add in some tracking codes. So if they wanted to track how many people visited that page, they can add their own Google tracking information, so they can further report on the effectiveness of the campaign. Once I hit update, that's going to update my information. And now I'm going to go ahead and just hit view here, and I'm going to go look at the check-in page or the registration page. So this is the event that I just created. I have my banner here, whatever they added to the banner. It's going to show information about the page. Again, this is the page that's automatically created for them. If they selected template 1, you can look at the other template. I'll show it. Maybe I'll put it into a video, John, on the events training thing. I'll do a little presentation thing on it to show the different options. But from here, I can select register now. That's going to give me a pop-up, and it's going to show, again, the choices that I just selected of who can register for this event. Once I click just myself, it's going to ask me those questions that I added. So here, I'm going to just go ahead and type in my information. If I wanted to put this in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and answer the question that's being asked, and I'll select next. And then here I just add in the total number of tickets that I'm looking for, and then I can go through the checkout process. I can also create specific coupons for events. So let's just say here I was going to give away a coupon code to somebody. Let me see if I can type this in. They could have a coupon code that could apply during the checkout process for this event. So if they were going to give specific people different pricing or promote early registration and apply a coupon on top of that, inside of your Stackably account, you can go under your shop settings, and then you can generate coupons. And here you can see I created a coupon for free training for this event that is 100% discount. And again, you see how that would work as far as I could apply a discount to that through the checkout flow if somebody wanted to use coupon codes, and then we can track the amount of times that discount is used. And so that's kind of like the registration process. Again, this knows that I'm signed in as a user. So I do always like to touch on this kind of stuff, because as you guys are in there in your demo accounts, you might see something and be like, oh, that's a little weird that that's here. The system knows if I'm signed in or if I'm not signed in, and it actually gives me a different flow than it gives the customer because I'm signed into this browser. And so here, if I was registering somebody for an event, but they weren't paying me, I didn't have them on the phone anymore, they just gave me their information, I can hit send invoice if I didn't use this coupon code, and I can send them an invoice to their email. Once they pay the invoice via email or however I want to send that over to them, then it'll mark them as registered for the event and then put that income into the event for me. Or I could hit checkout here if they were on the phone with me, and I could grab their card information and complete the registration flow for the customer. Once they've gone through that, I'll jump back over here to my events. I'll be able to go into my events management page, and I will see just some basic information: how many people are registered for the event currently, how much income has been generated for this event. If there were any expenses created, I can track expenses for the event as well. And then down here, I'll get a registration list of all of the people that have signed up for that event. If I need to contact anybody, or if somebody does contact me and I want to refund them for the event, right here in the event registration, I can go in here, I can refund the payment that they made, I could resend their receipt, or remove them from the list. So again, a lot of control really quickly over the event flow and who's registered. And then on the day of check-in, I can go back here to my calendar here to my events, and then I can run a check-in process where I can scan them in as they show up with their barcode. Once they've completed the registration process, I think I have it right here. Once they've completed the registration process, they'll get this QR code that they could use to check in at the event, or again, add it to their Apple Wallet. So that's just a brief overview of some of the event functionality that we have in the system. Again, this can be used in a lot of different use cases.